Chicago's very own 9 o'clock news.
Good evening. South suburban cocaine kingpin John Kappas is planning to appeal his conviction on charges he operated an ongoing criminal enterprise dealing in drugs. Kappas showed little emotion in court today as the guilty verdicts were read on a variety of charges. Robert Jordan reports.
The case went to the jury last Friday, and they reached a verdict late today. Prosecutors described Kappas as the mastermind of a violent and profitable multi-million-dollar drug ring. He was found guilty on 24 of 27 counts, ranging from distribution of drugs to operating a criminal enterprise. Kappas's two co-defendants, Michael Carradine and Brian Bothier, were convicted on charges of extortion, criminal use of a firearm, and conspiracy. Kappas's attorney, Michael Ettinger, said his client was attentive to the end.
As they read off the counts, he wrote them down, and he was upset at certain counts that, you know, the gun counts. He wanted to win those. So.
Was there ever any point where you considered testifying?
No, that wasn't even a consideration.
Will you appeal?
Yes, definitely.
Prosecutors say the evidence against Kappas was overwhelming from the start, and they were confident of a victory.
He had 23 witnesses who were involved in the scheme, who came forward, many of whom pled guilty and put their own lives at jeopardy and their own futures at jeopardy. I think the jury did an excellent job in this case, and they sifted through the evidence, and they found not guilty on the counts they thought we didn't prove, and guilty on the counts we did, and they did a fine job.
But prosecutors say they were pleased with the verdict because of the message they wanted to send to other young people who might be lured by Kappas's lavish lifestyle for 4 years.
You may, in the short run, get to have all these fancy toys and things, and drugs may be an easy ticket to that sort of lifestyle, but I hope people understand, especially the kids, that it's an easier ticket to a totally damaged life, jail for a lengthy period of time, and years that you'll never be able to get back. And I hope that's what young people get from this verdict.
And although Kappas may have lived a charmed and exorbitant lifestyle for those 4 years, he now faces a minimum of 25 and a maximum of life in prison. Robert Jordan, WGN News.
Sentencing for Kappas is scheduled for May 23rd. Okay?
Well, Rick, in political news, with just 1 week to go before the Democratic primary in the race for mayor, the Sawyer campaign is riding high on a new poll that shows the tie between Mayor Sawyer and Richard Daley. And the Sawyer camp is trying to involve Richard Daley and the controversy over racial remarks made over the weekend by a Sawyer supporter. Jim Williams reports.
The mayor, who campaigned today with Alderman and former candidate Juan Solis, is upbeat. He and his staff say they have good reason to be encouraged because they have confirmation that momentum is with the Sawyer camp. The mayor is providing backup to his assertion that the race is a dead heat. He's released a new poll commissioned by his campaign staff, and it paints a much brighter picture for Sawyer than other recent polls. The Sawyer poll was done by a Boston-based consulting firm, and it shows the mayor and Daley both at 44%, with 12% undecided.
The poll is accurate. They've done 3 or 4 polls, and each time the numbers have gone up. And what I've seen is I've gone across the city. People are reaching out all over the city. And our numbers are going to be substantial by weekend.
Mayor's poll follows weekend surveys from the city's major newspapers. The Tribune showed Daley with an 8-point lead. The Sun-Times gave Daley a 12-point advantage. Sawyer's campaign manager says it's the mayor's poll that is closer to the truth.
The newspaper took its polls before Alderman Bloom withdrew from the race. And also it took it at a time that was further out from the mayor's race.
Meantime, Congressman Gus Savage's charge last weekend that Daley is a racist still hangs over the Sawyer campaign, and Sawyer's campaign manager blames Daley for the uproar.
By spreading those kinds of irresponsible remarks that have no place in the campaign, he himself then becomes one who is engaging in trying to push emotional buttons along those lines.
As the mayor maintains a hectic campaign schedule, he will go 2 days this week without airing television commercials. Sawyer campaign officials insist that has nothing to do with a reported shortage of funds, but with rearrangements in the production of new Sawyer advertisements. Jim Williams, WGN News.
The Sawyer campaign is downplaying reports that he did not file proper documents involving some $400,000 in campaign funds. A Sawyer spokesman says there are no significant problems in filing the documents.
Well, despite what the Sawyer camp says, Rich Daley wasted no time jumping on that report in today's Sun-Times about those allegedly improper fundraising events in the Sawyer campaign, calling that a typical way in which the mayor runs, in fact, the entire city. In a busy day of stumping for ethnic votes, the state's attorney also downplayed the mayor's new poll that we just heard about and maintained an air of his own confidence, as Steve Sanders reports.
Tonight, Daley is scoffing at the notion by Sawyer's campaign manager that he is responsible for injecting racism into the campaign.
I think it's ridiculous. I said that it was reported in the press, the TV, the radio, newspapers, and I said anybody should speak out against any of those statements, regardless of who is making it. It's not good for the campaign. It's not good for the city.
And the state's attorney also downplayed Sawyer's own poll showing the race in a dead heat.
I doubt it.
The other thing without revealing numbers, Daley says his own poll shows he's headed for victory. Earlier in the day, he called Sawyer's professionalism into question when asked about reports of possibly illegal fundraising by the mayor's campaign.
This is a serious, violation, basically dealing with disclosure of campaign funds. It should not be taken lightly. Again, the lack of professional, competent people in and around campaigning kind of represents what's happening in city government.
Tonight, Daley made a pitch for the Latino vote, making a campaign stop at an Hispanic Coalition for Jobs conference. And then it was on to his own 11th ward for a bit of soul food. The event, a chitlin party. There was even a hint of displeasure on his palate. He didn't show it.
What do you think, Rich? Very good. Oh, God. Tell everybody to eat them.
This event was held at the home of a longtime Daley supporter.
He is the best candidate. I know he's the best candidate. I have been supportive of him, and I will continue to support him.
With less than a week to go to Election Day, Daley is campaigning in wards throughout the city, trying to appeal to a number of ethnic groups. But regardless of who they are, it is clear the friendliest of all can be found in Daley's own backyard. In the 11th ward, Steve Sanders, WGN News.
4 Chicago policemen and 2 officers with the Secretary of State Police are charged with participating in auto theft and insurance fraud rings on the South Side and in the suburbs. U.S. Attorney Anton Valukas announced a total of 15 indictments today and explained how the officers, including a Chicago police captain and sergeant, assisted the theft rings.
Sometimes these rings operate by simply saying, okay, I need a Mercedes. Where can I find a Mercedes? They find a Mercedes that they're going to steal to order. And then they have to find out where that Mercedes might be located. Either the Secretary of State's police officers who are charged here, or some of these officers would run the plate so the location could be made as to where that car could be stolen. And for that, they receive $100 or more on each of those occasions.
Well, the Secretary of State's officers have been suspended. The Chicago police will be reassigned until their cases are complete. Well, still to come on the 9 o'clock news, you can expect to pay more tax on cigarettes, alcohol, and gasoline in Cook County.
And Fire Commissioner Galati defends Chicago paramedics involved in that controversial death of a 9-year-old boy.
As chairman of Montgomery Ward, I believe you should get what you want. You told us you wanted more name brands and low prices. So now all name brands are reduced to low prices every day. Brands like Sony, GE, Maytag, Michelin Tires, Lazy Boy, Sealy, and Lee Jeans, many priced 20 to 50% below last year. And if you find a lower advertised sale price at any store, we'll match it. And we guarantee your satisfaction or your money back. Why? Because we want your business.
There are times when power is everything. Times when a Lincoln Continental 6-cylinder can leave you a little intimidated, helpless, underpowered, and nowhere to go. These times are made for Cadillac DeVille's 4.5-liter V8. Climbing power. Passing power. Breakaway power. All at a price that's $2,500 less than Continental. Cadillac DeVille. Think of it as survival of the fittest.
Ladies, let's talk oil. If you want convenient car care, welcome to Jiffy Lube. We'll take care of you like family.
Well, that pain you felt in your wallet today came courtesy of the Cook County Board, which approved tax increases on cigarettes, alcohol, and gasoline. The county tax on cigarettes in Cook County now will go up 2 cents to 10 cents a pack. The tax on gasoline will go up 2 cents to 6 cents a gallon, and the county's tax on beverages containing alcohol will double from $1 now to $2 a gallon. Cook County Board President George Dunn proposed those tax increases as an alternative to a property tax hike. These new taxes go into effect the 1st of March.
Fire Commissioner Louis Galante is standing by the actions of 2 paramedics who refused to treat a 9-year-old boy who died of an asthma attack in a CHA building. Meanwhile, protesters gathered outside City Hall today demanding the paramedics be fired. Muriel Claire reports.
About a dozen people demonstrated outside City Hall, calling on Fire Commissioner Louis Galante to fire the 2 paramedics who refused to go into the public housing building to aid the dying child. They said they refused because their ambulance was being pelted with rocks and eggs. Galante expressed his unwavering support for the paramedics.
I'm comfortable that our paramedics acted properly, and we're going to defend them.
Yesterday, Sharon Jarnigan's attorney released 911 tapes that revealed Jarnigan's pleas for help for her 9-year-old son, Carl, and the paramedics' refusal to enter the building. Jarnigan's attorney said police were on the scene when the paramedics first arrived, and there was no attack.
The tape that you heard wasn't complete.
What is missing, perhaps, from that tape? What did you hear that maybe we didn't?
The information we heard was very specific that they were being attacked, and this is the reason we've taken the position we have, because there's no doubt in my mind or the investigators' minds that those people were under siege. Now, to say, well, it was only eggs or it was only stones, I would challenge any of you to take that judgment decision. When you pull up to a building and you're under attack by whatever, the decision and our policy has been